Hello and a very warm welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching SMART24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony Sebale and I am your host. And this is another edition of the financial markets. It's the Tuesday, the second weekday of trading in Uganda and the rest of the world. We hail from plot 42 Nile Avenue, Kampala, where of course we get you up to speed with what's happening in the world of business. To follow us, you can go to our Twitter handle, that's at SMART24 TV now, and be able to follow us back. You can also go to our YouTube channel, that is on SMART24 TV Live, for more of your live feedback from the channel here. You can also catch us live on GOTV and DSTV, channel 394 and 372, respectively. The show is probably brought to you by Altex East Africa, and with Altex East Africa, you can buy and sell treasury bonds in East Africa at the most affordable interest rate, and with the biggest gainers of the treasury bond market here in East Africa. Now, Altex East Africa is saying that under the Zabu initiative, you simply need to do one thing. Grab your phone and dial *292# and follow the prompts. You can register, you can buy and sell treasury bonds within East Africa. That is Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. And with Altex East Africa, we are regulated by the Capital Markets Regulator in Uganda, that is the Capital Markets Authority of Uganda. Markets open at 15 past 8 a.m. and close at 15 past 3 p.m. East African time. Altex East Africa, do something new. Let's get to delve into the business of the Uganda Stock Exchange first and foremost. Now, on Monday, that was the 15th of May, at least over 3 equities participated in trading for the day. And the day ended with at least 2 gainers and 6 losers on the market. 2 gainers led were the Wumeme stock, appreciating by 4.53%, and the Centum investment stock at 0.1% appreciation in price. The 2 companies were the only gainers, of course. That negatively impacted, especially the all-share index, which is the benchmark for the performance of the Uganda Securities Exchange listings. On the losing side, however, we had 6 losers on the market. These come with Equity Bank Limited at the bottom of the traders at a 2.22% depreciation in price. Now, Equity Bank Limited currently is valued at 1,151 Ugandan shillings per share. That's where we are having the stock currently. East African Breweries Limited also lost at least 1.36% of value on Monday, down to 3,856 Ugandan shillings, whereas Nation Media Group as well lost at least 0.45% of its value, down to at least 445.42 Ugandan shillings. Kenya Airways lost 0.15%, down to at least about 104.02 Ugandan shillings, closing the trade on Monday. And Jubilee Holdings Limited also closed lower, 0.15%, down to 4,888.8. The MTN company also lost at least 0.07% of its value, down to 165 Ugandan shillings, which is one of their lowest trading prices. Now, for the participating parties in this particular trade, Stanbic Bank Uganda came in at the top after trading a volume of 33.1 million shares that were traded on Monday morning. And Wumeme came in the second position with at least 24,500 shares traded on Monday. And MTN Uganda traded just about 1,500 shillings to wind up the trading on Monday. Let's have a look at the stocks like MTN. MTN seems to be still continuing its loss on the market currently after losing 0.12 shillings yesterday. Now, history has it that MTN is the only listing that listed electronically in 2021, the only stock that came on board with an electronic IPO, one of a kind within East Africa. MTN Uganda, however, currently in the Uganda Securities Exchange trade is the second most valuable stock, with a market capitalization currently of about 3.7 trillion Ugandan shillings, which makes about 19.5% of the Uganda Securities Exchange equities market. Now, on Monday, they closed with 1,500 shares valued at 247,500 Ugandan shillings. That was traded. Now, currently, they have about 22.4 billion shares on the market and a 3.7 market capitalization. Current performance of MTN is quite slow, and the price has been reducing since the year began. Putting things in perspective, the current pricing at 165 Ugandan shillings is a drop of about 8.33% in year-to-date performances, as the stock began the year with 180 Ugandan shillings. Currently, it is ranked the sixth stock amongst the 18 listings on the market as per the year-to-date performance. Also, in terms of the most traded on stocks in the last 3 months, MTN continues to be the third most traded on stock on the exchange, coming behind Stanbic Bank Uganda and MTN Uganda. In the past 3 months, their volume now is standing at 16.8 million shares that have been so far traded within the period, valued at 2.85 billion Ugandan shillings turnover on the market. That's it from MTN Uganda. But Stanbic as well yesterday had a big volume traded on the market, biggest volume traded on the market, and without any disturbances in pricing. Stanbic stock currently is still valued at 26 Ugandan shillings per share. And this is as per the current data from the Uganda Securities Exchange. As per also the data, we have currently about the company's market capitalization around 1.33 trillion Ugandan shillings. Of course, this year, Stanbic is expected to hike their dividend a little bit higher, which is quite good news for the investors there. And also the company, of course, made a better profit this year than in its last performances. It made a 366 billion profit in the year 2022. That's as per the audited financial statements. Now, we have Stanbic Bank performance at 33.1 million shares that were traded yesterday, and a turnover of 860 million Ugandan shillings. That is quite an enormous amount of value, close to 1 billion shillings traded within a single day. Shares outstanding are 51.2 billion at Stanbic Bank Uganda. Now, the current market price of 26.0 is consequent of last week's gain. In last week, the company gained at least over about 4% of value to the current price of 26. Shareholders can also be highly optimistic because of the knowledge of the fact that the company's price has also appreciated 13.4% in the last 1 month of trading on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Stanbic Bank Uganda maintains the #1 position in as far as trading on the Uganda Securities Exchange is concerned in the last 3 months. And that is not only just a performance by the volumes, but also by appreciation in price and a better trade for the exchange. But regarding the performance of the indices, the benchmark index, the all-share index, consequent of the poor performance of mostly the cross listings in terms of dropping in prices, dropped 7.9 points down to 1,045 points, whereas the local company index, on the other hand, at least increased by 0.39%. Thank God for the appreciation of Umeme Limited at the end of the day. Now, Umeme appreciated by 19.02%, up to a price of closure of about 439 Ugandan shillings per share. Umeme has been on a spree of gains in the last 3 months, especially within this period of 2023. The first quarter, Umeme's price has been shooting up. And of course, this is consequent of the declaration that the company will be exiting Uganda in 2025. And of course, that will come with a little bit of compensation for the shareholders. But also the company's dividend is set to be increased. This week, we are going to be witnessing the company's annual general meeting, which is going to be held on the 18th of May. It's going to be a hybrid meeting where both investors online and investors who will be there in real time will be able to attend and have a look at what the company's performance is currently. But Wumeme yesterday appreciated by 19.02 Ugandan shillings, upwards to 439.02 Ugandan shillings. The market currently has about 1.62 billion shares on the market for Wumeme, valued at 713 billion Ugandan shillings, meaning the stock is the seventh most valuable on the Uganda Securities Exchange in the long run. Wumeme's trading has also gone up in terms of volumes, and currently it is still maintaining the second position in as far as the most traded on stocks in the last 3 months are concerned. Within this period, we have seen at least 24.4 million shares total being traded and valued at 8.87 billion Ugandan shillings. Take note that the turnover for the company is the biggest so far in the last 3 months as well. But of course, the trading volumes are still in the second position, coming behind Stanbic Bank Uganda, which is currently the most traded on stock in the last 3 months. Moving on, the local company index, like I said, increased because of Wumeme and as well as Centum Investments that appreciated in price. And that was all from the Uganda Securities Exchange. The Uganda Securities Exchange has a website to which you can go to if you want to start investing, if you want to start buying stock, if you want to open an SCD account using their SCD registry. Simply visit www.use.org.com and get to, of course, the Easy Portal. When you go to Easy Portal, you will be able to input the details of, first of all, your national ID, national identification number, your personal details like your names, and a photograph, and a couple of other few things here and there, and the rest will definitely be history. You'll be able to open up the account and trade on the platform through any of the licensed stockbrokers we have on the market out there. That is it from the Uganda Securities Exchange. Let's now move quickly to the Nairobi Securities Exchange and have a look at what really transpired on the market yesterday. Now, when you look at the current markets on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, we had at least over about, 39 equities participating in trading on the first day of trading on Monday. At least 15 gainers were realized and 19 losers on the market in the busiest and biggest market in East Africa. Now, Ilam Fahari IT led the gainers with at least 7.58% share price appreciation, upwards to a closing price of 5.96 Kenyan shillings per share. It was followed by Wuchumi Supermarket with a total appreciation of 5.88%, whereas the East African cables appreciated 4.35%, and the Cooperative Bank of Kenya appreciated at least 3.33%. On the losing side, the NCBA Group also came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of at least about 4.21% on the market, closing off the day with a price of 30.70 Kenyan shillings per share. The NCBA stock was actually the least performer of the day, with the biggest losses on the market. However, when you look at their current trend, they've been a very resilient stock in as far as trading and in as far as market price appreciation is concerned. Kabaseed Investments dropped 3.1%, whereas Kenya Power and Lighting Company also dropped off at least 2.11%, with Bamburi Cement also dropping 2.04%. Safaricom recorded the highest volume traded, at least over about 22.8 million shares were traded, followed by a Cooperative Bank of Kenya with 1.1 million, and East African Breweries at 782,000, with KCB Group at 656,900 shares traded. Regarding the performance of the NSE market indices, the benchmark index, that is the all-share index, at least dropped 0.54 points down to a total of 93.04 points. And this is a 1 week loss of currently about 10.19% on the market. The benchmark index, remember, gets all the 65 listings and gets the average movement. And in terms of movement, we're talking about the price shifts or the price changes in as far as all the stocks are concerned. And this has been a drop, quite disappointing market beginning of Monday of this week. When you look at the NSE 20 and the NSE 25, these track the top 20 and top 25 stocks via market capitalization. On NSE, the NSE 20 dropped off 0.32%, and the NSE 25 at least dropped off 0.24% of the market pricing as well on the market. That's it from Nairobi Securities Exchange. But elsewhere in Africa, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange appreciated by at least 5,285 points. It's a market that is doing quite well in as far as especially the minerals and exploration companies are concerned on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Quite a number of gains have been registered. In aggregate, we had at least 29 Zimbabwe Stock Exchange listings participating in trade and 27 gainers and over just about no losers at all, impressively, on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. You can check out their profile and see how the stocks are moving, but currently they're one of the biggest gainers in terms of the all-share indices, how they're performing, and general price movements. They are doing quite awesome. Nigeria Stock Exchange also added 16.67 points on its all-share index at the end of the day, whereas the Nairobi Securities Exchange, like I mentioned, dropped off 0.54 points. And that's the trading, my friend, from the different stock exchanges across Africa. For more, you can visit www.smart24tv.com to get to see how the stocks are moving in real time. Let's go ahead and have a look at Wall Street and the US market. Of course, amidst talks about the debt ceiling raising from 31 trillion US dollars, definitely the markets wobbled on Monday. Stocks were mixed on Monday as investors hoped that the lawmakers can reach a deal in the debt ceiling standoff while assessing fresh economic data and Fed speak. When you look at around noontime yesterday, the benchmark indices, that is the S&P 500, ticked above the flat line, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average went lower below the flat line, and the technology-heavy Nasdaq Composite at least gained 0.48%. The ticking bomb of a potential debt default by the U.S. government is front and center of the week's discussion, especially amongst investors. President Joe Biden and House Speaker, that is Kevin McCarthy, and other congressional leaders are planning to meet tomorrow, actually today now, because it's a Tuesday and some parts of the United States is still a Monday. They are planning to resume the budget negotiations after postponing talks set for Friday. Meanwhile, the Treasury Secretary, that is Janet Yellen, said the discussions are making progress, and Wall Street Journal also reported that she plans to meet senior bankers to discuss the debt limit. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said that the bank has set up a war room looking at the consequences of the debt limit isn't raised, if the debt limit isn't raised in time to above 31 trillion US dollars. And that's it, my friend, from the global stocks. We continue to monitor closely what's happening in the US market and what will be coming from that discussion ahead, of course, of the meeting of Joe Biden, the President of the United States, and John McCarthy, Kevin, who is the Speaker of the Congress in the United States. That's it, my friend. Remember to check out Altex East Africa and you just have to do your part. That is dialing *292# and leave the rest to Altex East Africa to be able to give you access to the market using your mobile money. Now, they do have treasury bonds in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and they give you value for your money and savings using mobile money transactions to ease access to the markets. That's it from us today. It's, of course, another new day and, of course, a day for business. I wish you a very lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
SMART24, driving business.
Sky. Futimbuto, the taste of Uganda in a new international park.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.
Saving or securing for the future does not only mean investing in stocks, real estates, or companies.